How would you feel if you went down to your local game store and you went in to buy a brand new AAA video game? You go up to the desk, you put the game down, and you ask, how much is this game? And you're told that it is $80, and that all AAA video games from this point on are going to be that price. You probably wouldn't feel very good, would you? Well, because of people like the individual that we're going to take a look at today, that may become a reality. Well, I was scrolling around on Twitter today when I saw an article where Nintendo was basically justifying their $80 video games. And of course, we are going to talk about a fanboy who wants to defend this. But this time, not a Nintendo fanboy. A PlayStation fanboy. Now, today's PlayStation fanboy goes by the name of MBG, and I covered him about a year, 2 years ago when he made a video basically coping over people covering salt content, or fanboy content, or whatever you want to call it.
I mean, dude, toxic motherfuckers out here. A million times worse than I could ever be, even if I tried, are getting a platform. And you know how they're getting a platform? You think it's by enjoying games? You think it's by being optimistic about games? Do you think it's about talking about the games they're excited about? No. They're getting platforms by literally shitting on Sony and Sony fans.
Oh no! Anyway, last week...
Now, in between the time that I made that video and the time that I'm making today's video, he had a lot of bad takes, but none quite as bad as the one we're going to go over today. So, let's get into this shit. Emphasis on the shit, by the way.
I don't look at it as John B saying he's encouraging Sony to do it. No, I think he's just being honest in that, like, again, man, right now, like, if you're willing to come out and publicly state, I'm willing to pay $80 for Mario Kart World.
In Mario Kart's case, you would kind of be an idiot to do that considering you can literally get the game bundled with a Switch 2, and in that case the game would cost you $50 instead of $80. But I think there's a huge difference between being willing to go out and spend $80 on a Mario game, and openly going on social media and saying, I am willing to pay $80 for a Mario Kart game. Because with the second one, you are directly telling these companies pretty much just jack up the price.
Right? If you're that person, you're going against the grain of internet culture right now.
Wait, you mean to tell me the internet culture isn't in favor of $80 video games? Holy shit, what are you gonna tell me next? The sky is blue? Water is wet? Grass is green? Yeah, no shit, people aren't going to be in favor of $80 video games. Have you seen the state of the economy? Most people are living paycheck to paycheck. You think they want to spend 80 bucks on a video game? You got me fucked up, bro. Most people are still pissed off they have to pay 70. Forget 80, and especially forget 90 when it comes to some physical games. Oh yeah, and do you remember when the price went up to 70 and we were told we would get better quality games? That was a fucking lie.
Which is no. We don't say like we're gonna shame you now.
Yes, if you defend $80 video games, I am going to shame you and make fun of you. And I will do it with a smile on my face. You are making this hobby worse. You are basically telling these developers to jack up the price, which will probably price a ton of people out of this hobby. Yes, I am going to shame you and make fun of you.
And that is just the way it goes sometimes, where what John B is saying, I assure you, millions upon millions of people are in that same exact boat.
Millions and millions of brainless consumers.
Where, like, yeah, they will pay. If Sony comes out with a PlayStation 6 and they say, listen, going forward, games like God of War, games like The Last of Us Part 3, Spider-Man 3, they're going to be 80 bucks. There are millions upon millions of people who are going to be like, okay.
Yup, they'll say okay, and then they'll proceed to bend right over. And honestly, if you ask me, in the case of The Last of Us, they should be paying us with how much they've milked that series. They got more remakes and remasters in that series than actual entries.
Yeah, it sucks, but yeah, I'll pay another 10 bucks to have that game.
This shit is so pathetic. Modern gamers are just so submissive to whatever slop they're given, they just eat it up like good little piggies.
On top of what I was already willing to pay. It's the idea that, like, we don't want to it looks bad because it comes off as like, yeah, you're saying we should shame them. It looks bad because it comes off as like, yeah, go ahead, please raise the prices. Like, no, nobody's asking for price increases. We're asking for the opposite. We want to save money, right? We want games to go on sale.
Because I'm sure when Sony sees people saying, I am willing to pay an extra $10 for this game, I'm sure they're gonna think, alright, let's keep the price the same, or let's lower it. If they catch wind of you guys saying this shit, they're gonna raise the price. So you might as well just ask them to raise the price at this point. You guys are playing a very dangerous game right now by making these sort of statements online, and you could end up costing the entire gaming community a $10 increase across the board, and possibly even cause some people to be priced out of the hobby. If you're okay with $80 games, whatever, but do not openly say shit like this.
So, the real question that has to be asked, I think, is what is the true tolerance level? Like, what is the breaking point? That's the question.
Well, that kinda depends and differs from person to person. I see a lot of people even right now saying if they increase the price anymore on video games, they are simply going to go find a different hobby. A lot of people will simply not be able to afford gaming anymore if games go up to $80. Personally, for me, if it goes above $70, I'll get my hands on the games. But I sure as hell ain't paying above $70 for them, I'll tell you that.
The reality, I'll give you a dose of reality here.
Enlighten us, wise sir.
The reality is, a lot of the anger you see being thrown towards corporations from the people who are expressing that anger on a public stage, on social media, they're making money off of that.
So what? Also, I love the logic here. It's not okay for us to call these companies out if we're making money, but it's completely fine for you to defend them and make money. Funny how that works.
It's easy for a person who's making money off of being angry at greedy corporations to be angry at greedy corporations.
Yeah, but it's more than just people making money speaking out against Nintendo's greedy practices. When they did their Treehouse livestream, the entire chat was spamming lower the price, cut the price, drop the price. Everyone on social media is lambasting Nintendo right now for their pricing. It is not just us that are making money. Nobody likes greed, besides DSP. Now, for the rest of the clip, he goes on to talk about he was broke in the past, and, people can't afford it, and, obvious shit, right? But there is one thing I'd like to touch on, because he does make a good point at the end here.
Rashtam, you're saying you're wrong, MBG. I'll pay, but I'm definitely not fine with it. But see, that's the thing though, like by you paying, you're saying you are sending a clear message to the corporation that you are fine with it.
And whether you want to hear it or not, he's absolutely correct. If you go out and buy an $80 game, the company's seeing that, and they're gonna know. They're gonna know you're okay with $80 games, and they might increase the price. Anyway, that is gonna do it for today's video. If you will buy $80 games, I can't stop you. But please do not get on social media and tell everyone that you're okay with it, and do not let these companies catch wind of this shit. Alright, that's it from me guys. Peace.